In this video, we're going to go over how a tip that you can use to stop your dog from over drinking water. Now, a lot of times when dogs do this is because water was limited for them, and so when they have access to it, they drink as much as they possibly can. A lot of us will start limiting the dog's access to water. The problem with that is it makes it even more of a valuable resource. It also can cause the dog to want to, the dog's body to start concentrating the urine and crystallizing it in the bladder. So, hey buddy, I'll put this down. Riley. Water. Okay, well this isn't going to do it with the dog that I want, so I'm just going to demonstrate here. So what you want to do is you want to let the dog drink a reasonable amount of water. Not the whole bowl, but a reasonable amount. And so bigger dogs, I'm going to let her have a little bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert myself between the dog and the bowl like this and move the dog away. Now you don't want to tell the dog to move away, you're just going to kind of, and if you might have to kind of insert your foot and then you're going to kind of gently nudge them away. Then you're going to stand here and you're going to block. You're going to wait for a certain period of time to pass, about a minute or so. I like to wait until the dog sits or lies down if possible, but if they're pacing around, they're just waiting for you to move away. So wait until they kind of are stationary, sit, or lie down. Once that's the case, then I kind of move out to the side, and then they have, I don't tell them to, but they have access to the water again. This time when I do it, I would let them do it a lot shorter period of time, maybe 10% of the amount of time that they did for the first one. So first access should be able to satisfy their thirst. Second time is just like, this is the habit that I've gotten into, I just need to come and get it all. So we want to, instead of taking it away, we leave it there, but we move the dog away and kind of block it, and then we step off to the side. So I'm able to block it if the dog tries to come back over here, but we want the dog to learn to practice self-control and not try to come in and just over-drink. If you do this over and over again, after a while the dog gets less and less needy about it because I get it as much as I want, and then I wait a minute, I get some more, I wait a minute, get some more. So keep doing that until the dog just kind of stops. Now, Riley in this case didn't want to do it because Riley's probably a little bit tired. We just fixed Riley's problem about not wanting to use the stairs, or at least showed her guardians the way to do it. And we got her to go up the stairs. Okay, so this is the little tip that I use for drinking, but we're going to make this a bonus because we really didn't get to demonstrate this. And one of the problems the dogs also have is eating, well, not so much eating, but pooping in the house. If you have a dog that's pooping, these guys are gone, they're free, but they're gone for about, the guardian's gone about 10 hours, and they're coming home to pee and poop in the house. Now these are both farm dogs, a farm breeder I should say, and so they're probably not that used to having to hold it. So we have to teach them how to do it. I went through some potty training tips with the guardians off camera, but in this video I want to talk about feeding. Now if you have a dog that poops like that, one of the things you can do is adjust the feeding schedule and move feeding a little bit later in the day. So dogs' digestive tract is usually about 8 hours. So if we can adjust our feeding schedule, a lot of times what I recommend my clients do is start a journal for when you feed them and when they poop. Or if you don't know, approximate as much as you can. Having a security camera is one of the suggestions I mentioned to the guardians. They could check in from work once an hour and then get a window of what time the dog make that accident. But right now the dogs are usually fed around 5 o'clock. We maybe move that up to like 7 o'clock. Are we still going?
Yeah.
Okay, if we move it to like 7 o'clock, now there's 2 hours later, that might be the bridge that the dogs need to be able to hold it until their guardians come home. And again, we just want to use positive reinforcement to reward them for going outside successfully. Do we have the food here? So I'm gonna invite one of the guardians, she's gonna come in here and she's gonna feed the dogs. Before you come in, we need the bag of chips as well. When you're eating, dogs eat in order of their rank. So the human needs to eat something before the dogs eat. All right, now if you want to let them, if they want to go out, that's okay for the purpose of this video. So leave the door open.
We'll let you have a break.
All right, so I'm going to hold your chips for you.
All right.
Well, actually, let me demonstrate first. So what I'm going to do, when I do this, I like to kind of waterfall it like, so they can hear it. And we're not going to feed them their whole full meal here. We're going to use those escalating consequences I went over to not allow the dogs to eat. Now for this, what I would recommend we do, and you're going to do what I'm going to do here in a second. She's already doing it for me. So, come here, Daisy. I'm going to do what I call reverse herding. I want both dogs to leave the room. Now, there we go. So I prefer to do it without manhandling them. I'm just walking behind them and kind of shepherding them out the door. Whoops. Yes, I don't want you to sit. I want you to leave. Now, my rule is when I'm feeding them, they're not allowed to cross this threshold. Now, I can close the gate, but then the gate becomes the authority figure. So what I'm going to do is I'm in the position she stopped. I'm going to take one step backwards. When she tries to come forward, I disagree by moving forward to block her. I wait for her to be stationary. I take another step backwards. She's stationary. I can take another step backwards. So So anytime she starts to come in, I abort what I'm doing and I rush towards the dog. And you saw that made her move backwards, especially if you're sudden. Take another step back, pause. Another step back, pause. Now I'm going to pantomime what you're going to do, and then you're going to take the food and you're going to put it here, but you're going to keep your chest pointed at the dog when you're doing this, because if you turn like this, your authority's going this way, the dog will run right up. Then I'm going to put some over here, and I'm going to keep my authority pointed towards them. So I'm even for both dogs. Now, and I should just make a mistake. When you're doing this, at first, one step, pause. One step, pause as you're backing up. If you take several steps backwards, that will kind of invite them forward. And if the dog is moving forward and I move backwards at the same time, I'm looked at as giving up territory for them. So wait for the dog to be stationary. If they SIT or LAY, which, so now the hissing and that sudden step is working, I don't have to go all the way there. So then, because dogs eat in the order of their rank, I'm going to have the human eat something first. And that's okay, you're going to actually do this. But she's going to munch on some chips, just like right back here. Not blocking there. So the dogs should have free reign to get to there. They're stopping and restraining themselves. We want the dogs to develop self-control. Now, I like to come up with fun command words for the dogs to eat. Now, I'm not going to put the guardians on the spot right now, but I'm going to say chow and feast for these dogs. So we're only going to allow one dog in at a time when it's that dog's permission to eat, or time to eat. And as soon as they take the first bite, we're going to say chow for this dog for 2 months. The other dog hears the word chow, there's no food in their mouth, so it doesn't mean anything to Riley. Now I'd probably going to have to feed Riley first. I would feed whoever's being better behaved. They're about the same age. Now Riley is more dominant of the two dogs. Sometimes you can try to feed the submissive dog first. Sometimes that will help change things. A lot of times the submissive dog's like, I don't have the authority to eat in front of the other dog. If that's the case, then you have to just keep on going back to that. So then you're going to eat, you don't have to eat a real meal. If you're going to eat breakfast later, just grab something. You can take 5 or more bites on it. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to put the chips down. I'm going to invite, we're going to do Riley first, I think. Riley's going to come up and get to eat. Now, once Riley sniffs the bowl, she's on the clock. She has 5 minutes maximum. And at any point that she walks away from the bowl, I pick up the bowl, I dump it back into the container, and I put the empty bowl back down. It's important to put the empty bowl back down. We want the dog to walk by and recognize the bowl is empty. The bowl is empty. There's nothing in the bowl. So only for 5 minutes twice a day, only 10 minutes during a day is there food in the bowl. That makes it a very special time, kind of like when you're on the 405 and you can actually drive. So basically, this way we have dominion over the food. We're eating in the higher ranking position, and we're also protecting the dogs from each other. Right now, one of the dogs is trying to take the food from the other dog because they're doing it amongst themselves. And sometimes they're leaving food over. Now, if you feed them a cup of food and they're eating 75% of the food, then go to feeding them 75% consistently for about a week or two until they consistently clean their plate. Then you can start adding more back in, go back to whatever it should be. But dogs spend 90% of the time in the wild looking for food. This is one of the most important things you can do. If you add this tiny bit of structure to mealtime, after a while the dogs will come and wait behind the line. They won't even try to come in. And you just yell from the other room, grub or feast, or chow or feast, I forgot what words I came up with. And then that dog knows it's my turn to eat. And I don't have to worry about the other dog trying to sweat me or intimidate me and get close to me and take my food. Mom and dad are handling that, so I can have more, I don't want to say respect for mom and dad, but be more comfortable in mom and dad's leadership. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this back in here, and I'm going to step out and I'll kind of guide you through it. And then you're going to kind of go through it. Now, at any point that they start to come in, I want you to drop, don't drop, you can walk over, but I want you to rush over here quickly to move them out of the room and try to get them before they come in. If you can catch them, hiss at them before they come in, it'll be a lot more effective. All right, so I'm going to step to the side.
All right.
Actually, first, I'm going to put this over here so it's easier for you. I think if I'm in the room, I'm going to influence it, so I'm going to stand behind the camera. And now you're going to go ahead and just sprinkle some food in each container.
Okay.
And keep your eye peeled on the corner over here.
And
there you go.
Forward.
And you can pan down there real quick. Just a quick look, and then go back to sitting. So the dog's sitting.
Okay.
All right, so now you're going to go put the Tupperware on the hutch.
Okay.
And go grab your bag and lean against the wall and just take a couple bite out of your chip. And if you do, like I said, if you don't want to eat a real meal, just get one chip and you eat it.
Is she seeing me though?
She'll be. Oh, rush. Perfect. Wonderful. She is very aware. She doesn't even have to see it. She'll know. Now that was multiple hisses.
Yeah.
One hiss and then just move.
Okay.
All right, take a step backwards, one step and pause. One step and pause. Keep repeating until you're against the wall. Shoot down a little bit lower. There you go. And go back between the bowls. Excellent. And then eventually I want you just to lean against the wall and I want you to be nice and relaxed. There, the dog moved away. Okay, so now let's go ahead and walk up and put the chips on the hutch. And then you're going to invite Riley in. And Riley's going to feed the one.
Actually, you said invite her in?
Yeah. So
Riley.
say Riley and go tap the bowl.
Riley.
Cup your hand like this. And
Riley.
start lowering it. There you go.
Lead to the bowl?
Yep. Now you're going to say the word when you say
Chow.
grow after she takes the first bite, not before.
Chow.
Perfect. Now just stand right there and just lean against the wall. You can be a little bit further away. I just don't want her to go to the other dog's bowl.
Nope, agreed.
Now, so like I said, sometimes another dog won't eat in front of the rank of the other dogs. If that's the case, then just go with whatever they're doing. But I prefer to feed whoever is being the better behaved first.
Okay.
So I'm rewarding desired behaviors. Now, when Riley gets done eating, she's going to try to go to the bowl. You're going to do the reverse herding I showed you initially and make her leave the room. So now she's...
Now
okay.
we'll drink.
Now we'll drink a little bit. We might have a chance to do this water thing. Has she eaten all of her food? It is empty, correct?
It is empty.
Okay. So we'll give about 5 more seconds. If she's still drinking it, you're going to insert yourself and do the...
Oh, you quit on your... Well, maybe now is a good time to...
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And just...
Now on this one,
just use your legs. Don't use your hands. And don't let her pass you.
No.
There you go. Now march her this way. Keep going.
Where?
You're doing great.
Back.
Take a look. There you go. Get in front of her. Get in front of her and walk right at her. And walk right at her. You're worried about bumping her. Will you show it real quick?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. So step over here real quick.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm very confident you were a little hesitant in your movement, and that caused a little bit of confusion. All right. So now I'm going to help by moving her back, and you're going to invite her buddy.
Daisy.
Daisy. Oh, Daisy.
Daisy, come on. Now you do the whole eat, or does Daisy know I've ate?
No, only for the first dog. Come on, Daisy.
Oh.
So go ahead and drop a chip on the floor right there, Daisy, or just call her, tap the floor.
Hey.
There you go. There you go. Invite her in.
Daisy.
And now we don't have to worry about really guarding the second bowl because there's nothing in the first bowl. So she wants to go and lick Riley's bowl. We don't care because there's nothing in there. And we're not going to over-encourage. We give her an opportunity to eat. Perfect. Exactly. Now, if they like to walk away, I don't encourage them to come back. I just dump the bowl and they don't eat again until the next meal.
Until the next day.
Eventually, hunger becomes your ally.
Yeah.
Now, she's kind of in the area. She's going to check out the other bowl, and we're not over-encouraging. This is her job to figure out on her own. If we encourage, then we put her in the driver's seat. Well, if I don't eat, then I retain some power.
Yeah.
You got to eat, so it's up to her. Now, I've had some clients that they'll go 3 days without eating. If it goes beyond 3 days, that usually means that somebody in the house is cheating for the dog. So don't cheat when you're doing this, because this is going to be a Hooblink's first scenario. But eventually, you'll be able to get to. It's important because if your dog has medication or you're going on a trip or something like that, sometimes you need your dog to eat when you feed them. Most dogs should eat like this when it's presented. Okay, we're not going to finish watching her do it because this is a little bit longer video I normally like to do. Wait, hold on 1 sec. So these are basically some tips and tricks that you can use to stop your dog from over drinking water, as well as how you can add structure to feeding your dog's mealtime.